Well guys, let's go through some of the fecal matter considered news in the UK in what is the 423rd day of 2 weeks to flatten the curve. As expected, it's a shit show from the get-go, so let's not beat around the bush on this one and just go balls deep straight into it. First we have something I actually covered on Monday and is still gaining traction now. That is the media and celebrity shitweasels running around screaming about people who decide they do not want a medical treatment, because it seems like these lunatics are reading from the same hymn sheet as Dr. Shillery Jones or Shiprod here.
Look, undoubtedly, 2 or 3 months ago, I came up with the idea, no jab, no job. And that's something we're carrying out at Pimlico Plumbers. Nobody's going to come and work for us unless they've had the vaccine and they've got proof that they've had it. We're not going to send engineers out to customers' houses once the vaccine is properly rolled out unless they've had the vaccine. So for me, it's a no-brainer. From a business point of view, it's a must. And, the quicker that everybody acknowledges that, without proof of the vaccine, you can't go into a pub, club, restaurant, gymnasium, anywhere at all. You can't travel, theatre, you can't even go into work. I mean, personally, I have to say, I don't even think that we should allow people on the streets unless they've had the vaccine.
We see Andrew Lloyd Wangstein join Poundland Rod Stewart pushing for medical apartheid the other day, and this is continuing as time goes on. All I will say to them is you can vilify me all you want. The more you do it, the more my mind is solidified in thinking. I would rather guide my dad into my sister daily for all of time than do what some jumped up twat tells me to do. The day I become someone's bitch like that, I will be called Boris Johnson, and since that's never going to happen, you'll have to take a running jump. At the end of the day though, the more you force something on people, the more will actually turn away from it. This is something I've said multiple times before. Now, moving on from that, we actually have something I mentioned yesterday which has returned, and it relates to Dr. Shillery Jones. The Good Morning Britain tosspot who tells people not to go on holiday while he spends 7 nights on a cruise ship as a guest speaker for people who are on holiday. Obviously, these are rich people, of course, not the great unwashed millions on the balls of their arsehole thanks to policies this snivelling shitweasel has actually promoted. Well, today it's being reported that he stands by his cruise gig in August while still telling you to avoid holidays because it's rules for thee but not for me with these people. I would say it's incredible, but after this mask in the sea comment, most would actually expect it.
And in theory, if you go swimming in the sea, you should be wearing a mask.
Next up though, we have the Vaccine Passport app that has gone live now, and as predicted, it contains information it really should not. In fact, it looks closer to the information likely contained in the CCP's social credit system we all said this would end up as. Security experts are rightly calling out the fact it has all sorts of information contained in it, like your national insurance number, employer and occupation details, mental health conditions and more. Shit, your genetic or biometric details is in there if you've signed up for it, alongside alleged criminal behaviour, which tells me it will literally know more about you than you do, let's be honest. This is of course complete lunacy and shows the utter shitshow that we find ourselves in. 90% of that has nothing to do with health or indeed the so-called health passports for international travel. It is literally a social credit system in waiting if you ask me. Now the NHS have tried to run some damage control on Twitter after the security expert called them out by saying it was only for international travel. But the privacy notes themselves actually state it will be used domestically to reopen. Meaning obviously they're tying themselves in knots because even they know it's complete lunacy, so I think it's safe to say domestic vaccine passports are certainly coming as we predicted. Now I will have to say just to finish off this little bit here that medical and family data is actually more valuable than your credit card information, so the fact that they're doing this is not really surprising to me. But obviously this should be concerning for everyone, let me tell you that. Now next up we've got Oxford College destroying their own history by taking down Cecile Rhodes' statue and giving scholarships to 2 black people just because they are black. The last part of that actually seems kind of racist, like Oxford is saying black people can't make it on their own and need a helping hand, but I could be wrong. It is, as you would expect, a complete fucking joke from the likes of our education system in 2021. A box-ticking, virtue-signalling joke not worth a wet wank on a Sunday morning. Now, moving on like a fart in the wind, we actually have number 10, or pretty piss poor Patel, saying she will send the Stasi round to check up on 10,000 Brits a day who visit amber countries to ensure that they're quarantining. This, of course, is yet another slap in the face to the British public if you ask me. We must remember this incompetent fuckpig can't even police the border in relation to the boat wankers floating over the channel daily, yet can crack down on Brits who defy Boris Johnson's draconian lunacy. This is yet again more proof we have a Tory party whose only interest is destroying the lives of the people who live here while the borders are open like a fucking hooker's legs. Essentially, it's Labour by a different name, you could say. But following on from that, the idiots in number 10 also plan to make getting the vaccine sexy by spending shitloads of the taxpayers' money promoting it on Tinder. Because obviously they think people going on there looking for an axe wound to fill actually care about government propaganda when their old boy is standing on end. These lunatic proposals are essentially bribery though, as it states here. One idea being pursued is that users could get a blue tick or a banner showing that they've been jabbed as a way to display to others that they trust the vaccine. Another is the government could fund advertising on the apps describing the benefits of these vaccines. So essentially it's either bribery with a blue tick or UK taxpayer funded ad campaigns that, let's be honest, won't have much effect if any. I do have to say though, it all seems pretty desperate to me at the end of the day. Next up though, we have a diehard Socialist Labour MP and certified bullshitter Rosanna Allin-Khan, who not only claims she struggled to get out of bed after seeing people die on hospital wards, which I obviously question for multiple reasons, but it seems she was also called out for lying about the old bill while doing a Labour special with a good old bit of race baiting. First though, the doctor struggling to get out of bed after seeing people die at a job she spent years preparing for. This I have to question because it's either 100% a steaming pile of bullshit or it proves she's not fit to work in that field, and actually should probably step away before she does harm to herself or others. Myself personally, I just think it's a load of bollocks, but I thought it was worth a mention either way. The second shit show involving her is in relation to a police operation stopping takeaway drivers in Tooting. She naturally called this racist despite it being about road safety. She was called out by the old bill themselves, and rightly so. As you know, Labour never miss a chance to do a bit of race baiting, no, so the police should expect it in all honesty. I'm sure there will be more in the coming months and years. And finally, last but certainly not least, we have yet more strong English name scumbags up in court, you know, for preying on young British girls in the UK over a decade ago. This, as you know, is not something the BBC often report, but they did write a little article on this one, even if it should be #1 headline news on every broadcast show that they do. In my mind, hidden on their website is certainly not enough. But hopefully these scumbags can be deported ASAP, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that one if I was you. The government is hardly well known for being able to deport people, let's be honest, or even bothering to try. Now guys, that is the end of the video there. Thank you all very much for watching to the end. Remember, my BitChute and Odyssey channels are down below for you to support me on there if you have not already.